How long can John Harbaugh keep ignoring the Ravens' biggest problem? This team is one of the most explosive offenses in the NFL, yet they keep tripping over the same mistake that's already cost them huge games. Against the Chiefs, it showed up again in a way that nobody can wrap their head around, and patience is starting to run out. What's happening in Baltimore isn't just bad luck or a small detail. It's the same story year after year, and it's threatening to derail the entire 2025 season. And the worst part? Nobody inside that building seems to have a real solution. You know that feeling when a team has all the talent in the world, but somehow keeps getting in its own way? That's exactly what happens with the Ravens every time those pre-snap penalties show up. Against the Chiefs, it was impossible to ignore. In just the first half, Baltimore racked up 6 penalties, 3 of them before the ball was even snapped. Right there, 15 free yards handed to Kansas City. In a tight game, that's basically asking to lose. The most frustrating moment came on a drive that looked promising. The offense was building rhythm, moving the ball, and then, boom, 2 delay-of-game penalties in the span of 3 plays. It was like slamming the brakes in the middle of a sprint. All the momentum vanished, the drive died, and suddenly the defense was right back on the field under pressure. That kind of mistake has nothing to do with talent or physical ability. It's pure lack of focus and discipline, things a veteran team should have cleaned up a long time ago. And this isn't new. These penalties have become part of Baltimore's identity over the last several years, like a shadow that refuses to leave. Doesn't matter what changes they make in the offseason, the same problems keep creeping back. That creates a dangerous pattern because opponents already know the Ravens will eventually shoot themselves in the foot and give them an opening. The hardest part to swallow is that this offense is everything to be unstoppable. Lamar Jackson, playmakers at every position, creative play calling, it's all there. But once you sprinkle in boneheaded penalties, the entire machine falls apart. It's like building a flawless engine and forgetting to tighten the bolts. Sooner or later, it breaks down. And until this changes, every promising drive will always carry the risk of ending in nothing. And when a mistake becomes this routine, you can't help but ask, who's really responsible for failing to fix it? Since Lamar Jackson took over as the Ravens quarterback, this issue has followed the team like a ghost. Doesn't matter if he's throwing highlight reel passes or breaking off runs nobody else can make. Those pre-snap mistakes keep popping up right when Baltimore needs calm and execution. The offense can create fireworks, but when it loses rhythm because of delay of game or an illegal formation, everything collapses far too quickly. These kinds of mistakes would be easier to accept if this were a rebuilding team, filled with rookies learning the ropes. But that's not the case. Jackson is in his 8th year, and the offensive core is experienced enough not to stumble over such simple errors. This isn't about talent. It's about focus. Tiny details, yes, but ones that cost dearly, especially in games against teams like the Chiefs. And it's not like this hasn't been addressed before. Every offseason, the talk is the same. Tighten communication, drill the basics, cut out the silly flags. Yet when the season kicks off, the same old problems reappear. It feels like the team can never truly turn the page. Opponents know this too, and once they see Baltimore unraveling on its own, it only gets easier to exploit that weakness. The worst part is the frustration it creates, both on and off the field. How can anyone fully trust this offense when, in the moments that matter most, it stumbles over its own feet? That's the question hanging over Jackson and the entire unit. And until there's a real fix, it's hard to believe Baltimore will ever hit its ceiling. And if the players themselves aren't the root of the problem, maybe the responsibility falls squarely on the coaching staff that's allowed it to linger for years. When the same mistakes keep happening year after year, at some point it's not just on the players anymore. The spotlight shifts to the coaching staff. John Harbaugh is in his 18th season. Lamar is a seasoned veteran. And yet this team still looks lost before the snap. That sends a loud message. Something in the preparation or leadership isn't working. Todd Monken did what he could this past offseason, experimenting with different cadences, trying to get the offense ready for tough road environments, drilling communication. But once the season kicked in, the same mistakes came roaring back as if nothing had changed. That shows the problem isn't just a detail here or there. It's rooted deep in how this team is being run, like a structural crack that can't be patched with tape. And make no mistake, this is serious. These penalties are drive killers. They stall entire possessions, force the defense back onto the field, and strip the offense of any chance to impose itself. When a team this talented keeps sabotaging itself, the blame has to land on the head coach, the one responsible for discipline and execution. Harbaugh can't keep brushing this off like it's just a minor issue. The very reason you keep a veteran coach is to have answers for recurring problems. But if, after nearly 2 decades, these basic errors still linger, it's fair to wonder whether a new direction is needed. Patience is running thin, and time isn't on their side. As long as this coaching staff can't present a real solution, the Ravens will keep wasting the chance to turn their offense into consistent wins.
All right, we're already past the halfway point of this video, but before we continue, I noticed you haven't left a like yet. It's really important because it helps YouTube keep showing you my content so I can keep bringing you the best news about the Baltimore Ravens. So go ahead and hit that like button. It's free and it really helps. Thanks. Now let's get back to it.
This is what stings the most. Baltimore is one of the most dangerous offenses in football, yet it keeps wasting that firepower on mistakes that shouldn't exist anymore. It doesn't matter if Lamar is electric. The receivers are explosive and the run game is strong. If every promising drive ends up moving backward because of dumb flag, it's all for nothing. It's like sprinting 20 yards forward only to be dragged 10 yards back. In a normal game, that's already a problem. Against a team like the Chiefs, it's catastrophic. Handing free yards to Patrick Mahomes is basically spotting points on the scoreboard. The Ravens have the roster to compete with anyone, but when they hand the opponent fuel through self-inflicted mistakes, the entire flow of the game changes. Suddenly, a winnable battle turns into another painful loss. And it's not just about one game here or there. These slip-ups pile up over the course of a season. Every miss win can cost in the standings, home field advantage, or even a playoff berth. This offense has the potential to carry Baltimore all the way to the Super Bowl, but drives keep stalling into punts or long field goal attempts because of mental errors. That dream drifts further out of reach. That's the cruel reality. Baltimore doesn't lose because it lacks talent. It loses because it throws it away. And as long as this cycle continues, the gap between being a real contender and just another good team will stay wide open, which leads to the inevitable conclusion. Drastic changes have to be made. We're past the point where we'll fix it next week carries any weight. This is a new issue. It's old, constant, and it's not going anywhere on its own. The only way forward is to make tough decisions, whether that means shifting roles within the coaching staff or shaking up parts of the roster. Living with the same mistakes, year after year, is no longer acceptable for a team that claims it wants to compete at the top. The truth is, the Ravens have run out of excuses. With a veteran head coach and an experienced quarterback, this should be one of the most disciplined offenses in the league. Instead, they look like rookies tripping over the basics. That image is unsustainable, and it erodes confidence both inside and outside the locker room. Big changes are never easy, but they might be the only way to prove the team is truly serious about fixing this. If that means firing assistants, demanding more accountability from leaders on the field, or even reshaping parts of the roster, so be it. What can happen is letting the same cycle repeat unchecked. Baltimore is at a crossroads. Either they face this problem head-on, or they watch yet another season slip away over details that should have been cleaned up years ago. The talent is there, the window is open, but none of it matters if discipline doesn't show up. And the longer they wait to act, the shorter that window gets. The Ravens have more than enough talent to be on top of the NFL, but the same mistake keeps dragging them down year after year. Pre-snap penalties, delays of game, and sloppy communication turn promising drives into wasted chances, putting not just big games at risk, but the entire dream of reaching the Super Bowl in 2025. The offense is explosive. The defense is still fighting to hold its ground, but none of it matters without discipline. And the real question now is, how long is John Harbaugh going to let this problem eat away at his team without taking real action? Baltimore is standing at a turning point in this season. Every decision from here on out could be the difference between finally unlocking their potential or letting yet another year slip into disappointment. Time is running out, and the Ravens can't afford to keep tripping over their own feet.
And if you, just like me, are passionate about the world of football and want to learn more about the Ravens' legacy, don't leave this video without sharing it with that friend who is also a Baltimore Ravens fan and will love this content. See those video suggestions on your screen? The first one was handpicked just for you, and the other is a recommendation from YouTube itself.